Right now at 6, an agency in Missouri opens an investigation into the billing practices of Liberty Utilities.
And we've got a pretty nice day out there. Very windy, though, leading to some red flag warnings. So look at that forecast. Get you out the door. Coming up.
Plus, we talk to local experts about what jobs are hiring here in the 4 states.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is finally Friday. It's February the 28th, the last day of February.
Yes.
Tomorrow, the first day of March. Today will be warmer than tomorrow.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
And hey, tomorrow will be one of the cooler days we've had this week, really, and it won't last very long.
Okay.
It'll start warming up again on the flip side. So we are starting to settle into March.
Sure.
Can't go wrong with that.
No.
Unfortunately, springtime also brings thunderstorm
Yes.
chances and also starts to see severe weather season pick up. So we'll talk more about that here in just a few more minutes. But first, we got to get you out the door on your Friday morning, and we will do so with this. A live look downtown Pittsburgh, looking pretty darn good this morning, and not bad. Most of us pretty decent temperatures, but some of us a little colder. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin, looking back to the east toward that sunrise, starting to get a little bit of daylight out there. Also looking great. A reminder, red flag warnings are in place through 8 o'clock for the counties in this pink color. However, as I've also mentioned, if you're coming out of Cherokee County to Ottawa County even, the wind doesn't suddenly stop just because there's not a red flag warning. It's just these offices do not believe it's going to be enough to warrant a red flag warning, but it will be breezy across the entire area. So please, 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 no outdoor burning today, okay? It's not going to be safe. It's not going to be wise. Just don't do it. You can wait a couple of days when things ease up again. We have an opportunity. Doesn't need to be done today. Otherwise, temperatures nice. In fact, I think we're going to be maybe a couple of degrees warmer than where we were thinking yesterday in terms of our highs. Take a look at Bartlesville. Could even make 80 today. And then by late this evening, we'll have a boundary pushing through, so winds will shift out of the north. We'll have a few clouds, and that's what's going to make us a little cooler for our Saturday. Temperatures again, Miami is warming up now. It's been one of the cold spots all morning, and now up to 32 along with Grove. Most of us, though, are into the upper 30s and low 40s. So kids getting on the bus, we are looking at roughly the low to mid 40s by the time that bus gets there. Southwest winds gusting to 20. Clear skies this afternoon, 71 when the bus brings them home, but those southwest winds, hence those red flag warnings, gusting 35, maybe even 40 miles an hour at times. As we go through today, though, highs, I think just about all of us should at least make the low 70s, could be some upper 60s, but otherwise an absolutely beautiful day. As I mentioned, it's going to be a little cooler tomorrow, and it's going to warm up. We do have some rain chances starting Sunday, and we are still keeping an eye on Tuesday. We'll go over what we know so far here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, an 18-year-old woman has now died from her injuries following a crash in Jasper County. The crash happened on Monday morning on Missouri 171 near Carthage. Authorities say a car rear-ended a tractor-trailer, and the truck was traveling about 65 to 70 miles per hour. The car was traveling much faster. The woman driving the car was flown to Springfield with critical injuries. She has since died at the hospital. A Joplin man has died from injuries following a Sunday afternoon crash. The two-vehicle crash occurred on 23rd and Maiden Lane. A car turning left on a Maiden Lane struck a motorcycle in the outside lane. The driver of the motorcycle, Douglas Greer of Joplin, was taken to a local hospital and has now died of his injuries. Well, authorities say it turns out there was no danger to students yesterday following a report of gunshots near a northeast Oklahoma school. The Quapaw School District went into lockdown a little before noon yesterday when an Amazon driver reported someone was shooting a gun behind the administration building. Investigators determined it was a person doing target practice about 4 blocks south of school and that there was no threat to the district, but they did arrest a suspect requesting a charge of reckless endangerment with a firearm. And Joplin authorities responded to a house fire Wednesday night in the 800 block of South Ohio Avenue, just south of Ewart Park. Firefighters were able to put out the flames quickly. However, the fire had spread to the attic, and firefighters needed to rip out parts of the ceiling to gain access to the attic fire. No one was home. There are no reported injuries. And a house fire from last week ultimately takes a life. The incident happened last Tuesday on Spurgeon Road, south of Joplin. Emergency crews discovered a single-story home with visible smoke. Crews rescued the only occupant who suffered severe burns. Now, that individual was transported to a local hospital where they died from their injuries yesterday. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, Missouri launches an investigation into Liberty Utilities operations in the state. Now, at a meeting yesterday, the Missouri Public Service Commission voted 5-0 to launch an investigation into all Liberty Utility companies operating in Missouri. The commission says this investigation comes following a series of inquiries, complaints, and comments from customers about Liberty's billing and customer service. Now, in August of last year, KOAM reported on billing issues in the 4 states. The commission says they've heard the concerns loud and clear.
We want to make sure that everything that we can do to assist the customers, and also to make sure the company's doing the job that they're supposed to do, that we are taking the lead on that. So I appreciate this investigation and I support the order.
Now, in a statement to KOAM, Liberty Utilities says, quote, "We are actively working to address these concerns." Now, they add, "We know we have work to do and we are fully committed to make necessary improvements." You can read their full statement on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Are you currently job hunting or dealing with a recent job loss in these challenging economic times? Well, several businesses in different industries are hiring right now across the 4 states. Local experts tell us they're seeing more job openings right now than previously.
I would say in the Joplin area right now, we're seeing a lot with auto mechanics. That kind of industry is really heavy right now, as well as factory and manufacturing. It is growing quite a bit.
There's always a need for medical individuals in healthcare, construction. Construction's also a very big employer in this area.
Shanks recommends reaching out to employment placement companies for help. Not only do they assist in the job search, but can help with other things like brushing up on interview skills. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Department of Transportation plans to boost air traffic controller hiring with a pay increase. Plus, President Donald Trump is set to host Ukraine's president at the White House, and Chris Warner returns with another look at your Friday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, 2 of America's most popular game shows will be coming to a smart TV near you. Sony is shopping Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy to streaming services. Roughly 7 million people watch each one on syndicated television, but popular TV shows have been moving to streaming services lately. The Super Bowl was streamed live to Tubi, and Hulu will carry the Academy Awards Sunday. Broadcast TV will still have the edge for a few years, though. Now, whatever platform gets Wheel and Jeopardy will only have access to episodes the day after they air on television. And that's until 2028, when the broadcast syndication deal expires. Well, the International Revenue Service has released its list of tax scams people should watch out for in 2025. Now, topping the list are phishing scams, where fraudsters pose as legitimate organizations in the tax and financial community. Unsolicited texts or emails are sent to lure unsuspecting victims into handing out their personal or financial information. Now, another growing concern involves incorrect tax information on social media. The IRS warns this can mislead people into bogus tax avoidance strategies and sometimes result in identity theft. Now, while many of these scams occur throughout the year, they peak during filing season. And the Department of Transportation is planning to supercharge the hiring of air traffic controllers to solve an ongoing staffing shortage. Now, to attract new people to the profession, the Federal Aviation Administration is increasing starting salaries by 30% for candidates who start at its academy in Oklahoma. The agency will also cut down its 8-step hiring process to 5 steps. The DOT says it expects this will speed up hiring by shaving more than 4 months off the old process. The new hiring window launched Thursday and ends March 17th. The announcement comes as more attention has been drawn to air traffic controllers after a string of aviation incidents. And this morning, the pathway to peace in Europe runs through 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue as President Donald Trump will soon sit down with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky to discuss the now 3-year-long war between Russia and Ukraine. The two are expected to sign a minerals deal despite a recent public war of words. Now, meanwhile, federal agencies continue to brace for more mass firings, though a new court ruling could offer a reprieve for some federal workers. Jared Hill has more from New York.
Working to end a war. Today, President Donald Trump is set to host Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House.
We're going to get along really well.
But the path to peace is unclear, with Trump refusing to offer solid security guarantees to Ukraine to fend off any future Russian invasion, instead presenting his own form of protection, a U.S. presence in the country to mine for rare minerals. Today's face-to-face comes after the two have traded insults over the past few weeks, with President Trump at one point calling Zelensky a dictator.
Did I say that? I can't believe I said that.
It's the latest in a revolving door of world leaders at the White House. Yesterday, with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, President Trump insisted Russia's Vladimir Putin would honor a peace deal, but he again held back on security specifics, despite Starmer's efforts.
The UK is ready to put boots on the ground and planes in the air to support a deal.
Not far from the White House, fired USAID workers were greeted with applause as they cleared out their offices. DOGE also terminated hundreds at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, including weather forecasters. But there is relief for some of the recently terminated probationary employees. A federal judge ruled those mass firings likely illegal, ordering a partial pause for the White House. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Yesterday's ruling out of San Francisco only covers a handful of agencies, including the Department of Defense, and it remains to be seen what it may mean for workers who've already been terminated. But it's a temporary victory for labor unions representing federal workers as multiple cases make their way through the courts. Meanwhile, yesterday, President Trump said 25% tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico and an extra 10% on goods from China will kick in next week. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, Skywatch Storm Tracker looking pretty clear. Got a couple of clouds out there, but otherwise not bad. Clear skies and breezy for us today. We do have some red flag warnings in place, but a beautiful start to our finally Friday here in the 4 states. We'll have another full look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes on the KOAM Morning News.
Well, 2 boys from Ozaukee County are becoming close friends after a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Brewer Spring Training. Alex Squall has the story.
2 boys are having a catch. If you drove by, you might think to yourself, it's a sign of spring coming soon. Not knowing, of course, that for them, spring has already come. Blake Baker and Tyler Morano are fresh off the plane from Arizona. You can see it from their warm smiles.
They both make each other laugh.
Sure.
They spent last weekend hanging with the Brew Crew, swapping stories with slugger Christian Yelich, tossing out the first pitch, and announcing the players coming up to bat.
Garrett Mitchell! I had a hat with Brian Braun and Joy Artis on the top.
The trip was put together by Aurora Healthcare, where both boys got treatment. Blake and Tyler live only 10 minutes away in Ozaukee County, but it was this trip and their families' shared experiences that sparked this friendship.
It was really good for them to know that they're not the only ones who have experienced something challenging.
Blake had a benign brain tumor removed just 1 year ago.
A lot of tests, a lot of procedures. We don't take a day for granted, and we try to look at the positive aspects of life.
And Tyler has progressive hearing loss.
The crack of the bat or the ball hitting the glove. So he actually likes the sounds that baseball makes because he can hear those with his hearing aids in.
This great American pastime has been bringing people together for centuries.
I think they're going to be lifelong friends.
Add 2 to that list. And so the next time you pick up a bat, toss a baseball, or pass kids practicing at the park, remember, that's what sports are really about.
Incredible story. Let's head over to Chris now for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a beautiful start today. Take a look at that sunrise downtown Pittsburgh. We do have red flag warnings in place. I will talk about that and our rain and thunderstorm chances as we head into next week when we come back. Welcome back to the KOM Morning News. 6:22 now on this finally Friday. We got some stuff to go over. We're going to start with this. Red flag warnings for the counties in this pink color through 8 o'clock this evening. Now, again, even if you're not under red flag warning, doesn't mean it's not going to be breezy. It's going to be windy across the entire area. And honestly, really don't do any outdoor burning anywhere in the 4 states. It's going to be too dry, it's going to be too windy, and it's going to be too dangerous. So please just wait, all right? We'll have some more opportunities to do so. Unless it's something that just urgently needs to be done today, don't, because you shouldn't be doing any burning, especially under those red flag warning conditions. For today, gusty southwest winds pushing 35, maybe even 40 miles an hour at times. Outside of that, it's going to be sunny. It's going to be warm. In fact, might be even a couple of degrees warmer today than what we were thinking yesterday. Not that that's a bad thing. Now, you saw those clouds pass by heading to the south. We have a boundary coming through later this evening into the overnight that does shift our winds out of the north. Doesn't make our temperatures fall too far overnight, but it does keep us from warming up a bit tomorrow. We're going to have just a few clouds, some mostly clear skies, but our temperatures will be colder tomorrow, at least cooler tomorrow, but they'll be seasonably cool. Our average high should be in the low 50s, and that's where the majority of us are going to be as we head into our Saturday. Now, by Sunday, winds will begin to shift back out of the south, and that will bring in warm air once again. It also starts to bring in more clouds ahead of another system. It's going to bring us an opportunity late Sunday into early Monday for some showers and thunderstorms. Now, we're not expecting anything much out of this, just a couple of rumbles of thunder and some much-needed rainfall. It's Tuesday that we're still watching, which we will talk about here in just about a minute later from right now. Right now, temperatures, Miami's back down to being cold again. 28 is the cold spot there. Otherwise, the warm spot does appear to be Joplin right now at 49 as well. Most of us, though, into the upper 30s and low 40s as we get this day started. We're talking upper 40s to start. Look at that sunrise. Looks beautiful out there. And we're going to have those low 60s by 11 a.m. Highs for just about all of us should at least be the low 70s, maybe some upper 60s here and there. And again, the big concern, though, is southwest winds gusting 35, maybe 40 miles an hour. A few clouds later this evening as that boundary pushes through. North winds 5 to 10 overnight, and our lows back into the upper 30s. So here's a look at those showers going through Monday morning. Should be done by about noon, if not beforehand, and we'll just be left with mostly cloudy skies and not bad temperatures for Monday. We head into Tuesday. Now, we have a fairly classic severe weather setup on Tuesday, but again, the big question is the energy. Down to our south, they're going to have enough energy and instability for severe weather. The question is how far north it can get, because the system, the way it's set up, if we get enough instability north, then we will have a few more strong to severe thunderstorms, but that instability is in question. So we're looking at showers and thunderstorms throughout the day on Tuesday with this system. Again, the question is will they be severe or not? Now, I will show you this, the extended severe outlook. Now, as of yesterday, the severe threat was off to our south and east. This yellow zone, which is the possible, was down about where the probable zone is down across Arkansas. It's been lifted back to the north and west. So we will see exactly how this pans out. But as you can see, we still want to watch Tuesday closely because, like I said, this zone was down there yesterday. In fact, that's where it's been the last couple of days, but this morning it got backed up to the north and west, and honestly some data yesterday suggested that that might be possible. We might get a little more energy here. So we'll take a look at it. Not expecting, if we get stronger storms, we're not anticipating a severe weather outbreak of any kinds, mind you, but some strong storms will be possible. We'll keep a close eye on that for you. From here to there, though, again, 50s on Saturday, not bad Sunday, Monday, and even into Tuesday with those showers and storms, regardless of whether or not they're severe or not. Temperatures will drop on the backside, 20s Tuesday night, 40s on Wednesday. After that, though, we'll warm back up for the second half of next week. That's Check Your Forecast, or I'll send it over to Elise with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, nearly 2/3 of Americans aren't getting enough sleep, and it's taking a toll on their health. A study published in JAMA showed that people getting either less than 7 hours of sleep a night or more than 9 hours had as much as a 29% increased chance of death due to various health issues. The risk is even higher among low-income Americans. Well, new data shows adults who got the latest COVID vaccine are 1/3 less likely to visit an ER or urgent care. It's estimated the COVID vaccine prevented 42,000 hospitalizations during the 2023 to 2024 respiratory season. The data also shows kids who got the flu shot are 63 to 78% less likely to be hospitalized. And another reason to get off the couch and exercise. The American Academy of Neurology found that people who get moderate to vigorous physical activity are at a lower risk for dementia, stroke, anxiety, depression, and sleep disorders. Now, the study also found the more time people spend sitting, the more likely they develop those health issues. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, community members celebrated a new Story Walk installation in Joplin with a ribbon cutting.
And we've got a really nice day once again. Beautiful sunrise this morning. However, we have red flag warnings because it's going to be very windy. A look at your forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the class of 2038 will soon take their first steps into their school year.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's a finally Friday in the 4 states, February the 28th, last day thereof. And tomorrow kicks off March, the unofficial start to spring.
Yeah, I'm ready. It's already been feeling like it.
It really has. I think the unofficial start to spring was last Sunday when temperatures started to warm up. But it is going to be cooler tomorrow than we will be today, but it won't be below normal. We should be actually at normal tomorrow.
Great.
But today, boy, we broke a record high earlier this week, only by a degree, but still, it was. We broke that. We set the record. So it's been pretty decent this week. It's going to be pretty decent today. We just have to deal with the more wind across the area. And that leads to its own problems. Quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh. It looks lovely, does it not? We got that beautiful sunrise out there. And again, MoDOT camera 20th and range line. Of course, it doesn't like that daylight so much, but it does still look nice. You can still see some of those colors, but you get the idea. Sun is rising as we get a little closer to that. Now, I want to talk about this real quick. Red flag warnings for these counties in this reddish pink color. I think somebody about a year ago sent me an email with exactly what that color was, and I do not remember what it is. But it's a pinkish color, okay? Those are red flag warnings through 8 o'clock. Now, it's going to be windy across the entire area, so outside of that, burning definitely not recommended as the fire danger is elevated across our entire region. But in those red flag warning zones, absolutely no outdoor burning today, please. Take a look at the future track. There's not much to see other than these wind arrows racing by because hence it's going to be windy, hence the red flag warnings that are going to be in place. Take a look at Bartlesville by 4, could be 80 degrees. I think the majority of us are looking pretty good today in terms of those temperatures. Take a look at 8 too. You see these clouds? We got a boundary it's going to push through late this evening into the overnight. Calms our winds down, changes their direction, and will be what makes us a little colder as we head into tomorrow. Temperatures right now, not bad for most of us. Upper 30s, low to mid 40s. We do have some upper 40s like Joplin, for example, at 49. And then you get Miami just down the road at 28, almost 20 degrees colder in Miami than it is in Joplin, and that's not a long drive down the turnpike to get there. All right, kids, getting on the bus. Most of us should be about the low to mid 40s. Southwest winds gusting to 20, and by this afternoon, again, those southwest winds will be gusting 35, maybe 40 miles an hour. Hence those red flag warnings. It'll be about 71 when the bus brings them home. That's where our highs are headed. I think just about all of us should make the low 70s. There could be still some upper 60s here and there, but otherwise a very nice day. Just got to contend with that wind. It's going to be a little cooler tomorrow, but again, seasonably cooler. We got rain chances Sunday, and we're looking at those thunderstorm chances Tuesday, and we'll talk about all of that with you here in the full forecast. That's coming up here in just a few more minutes. Lise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. The Crossland Technology Center at Pitt State hosted Wood Product Manufacturing Day. The event brings students of all grade levels out to find out more about full-time employment, internships, scholarships, and some good old-fashioned networking.
So it's a great opportunity for companies to come at one time and interact with our entire student body, as well as students have the opportunity to speak with many companies all at one time. So just, it opens a lot of doors and allows a lot of networking between companies, students, and then also in between companies as well.
18 companies attended the event looking for full-time workers or summer interns. And many of the companies represented are right here in the 4 states, and some made the trip from as far as Nevada and Florida. Well, city employees gathered in the basement of Memorial Hall in Pittsburgh to participate in a health fair yesterday. The event provided such services as blood pressure checks, as well as information on dentists and doctors in the area.
Already had about 120 employees through the fair. We've got 30 vendors set up, 30 plus vendors set up, here to talk about all things health and wellness for them.
Now, the city says it provides events such as a benefit to employees' health and as a way to reduce health care costs. The Salvation Army and the American Red Cross are teaming up in Joplin for a special 2-day event aimed at strengthening disaster response in the community. The event, called Love Beyond Times of Disaster, takes place at the Salvation Army of Jasper and Newton County.
We'd love for them to come out and learn more about the resources that we can provide to families that have experienced an emergency, but also to learn how they can prepare themselves in case of an emergency that happens. The more prepared you are, the more you know your neighbors, the more resilient the community will be.
The event is free and open to the public and vendors. Anyone interested can register online. And One Joplin unveils a new Story Walk installation at Leonard Park. Now, the Story Walk features permanent holders that follow a paved scenic path through the park. One Joplin partnered with both the Joplin Family YMCA and the city's Parks and Rec Department to create the Story Walk. The first featured story is Run Oscar Run, a book that encourages readers to get moving.
When they read one page, it might tell them, go up and take a lap around the nearest tree and progress to the next page. And so we love the idea that it makes it accessible to a lot of kids. Some kids love to cuddle up and read, while others sitting down for that may be kind of challenging for them.
Brown says they plan to switch out the stories on a quarterly basis. And the class of 2038 will begin school this fall, and the Carthage School District is helping parents get their soon-to-be kindergartners ready for school. KOAM's Anthony Saviello takes us to a program put on by the district to help parents and their children take those first steps.
There are moments that come along when we are reminded that our children are growing up.
Do you guys know each other? Yeah!
Getting ready to take their first steps towards kindergarten is one of those moments.
It also helps parents understand, what does it really look like to be a kindergartner in 2025? The expectations and what kindergarten looks like is very different from when I went to kindergarten. And so helping our families understand what they can do as parents to help make sure their child has a great start to their educational experience.
It's a chance for children to meet their teachers, and for teachers to meet the families.
As a teacher, I just really like making that connection with the families early. Like, we are able to meet them, they can put a face with our names, we can put a face with their names, and then we can start building that relationship, and we can start telling them like what we're going to do for their kids and how they can get them ready for kindergarten.
All of them are tested.
Every year I'm kind of surprised by how much some of these students really know. They are at this age such little sponges that they really do soak up everything that's given to them. So I'm always excited to see what they've already soaked up and then what we can kind of take them on to the next level with.
And any questions a parent may have are answered.
I also think a lot of parents are worried about, what's that person going to be? Who's going to be their teacher? Who can I go to with questions? And so just really forming that partnership between the school and those parents to make sure each child is successful.
Lastly, it's time for a photo before they begin their next journey in the classroom. In Carthage, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Well, Kindergarten First Steps program will continue today from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, if you can't attend, you can contact the school district to set up a time for your child. And if you think back to the vehicle you drove in high school, well, there's a good chance it didn't quite look like this. Now, this was Drive Your Tractor to School Day at McDonald County High School in honor of FFA Week. The school's Facebook page posted photos of some of the cool rides and the proud young drivers. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. It's Friday, and that means, of course, we have Shannon Becker in the studio with his big 3 stories of the week. And we have a warm and windy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning. How are you doing, Shannon?
I'm well, thank you. And you?
I'm well as well. Thank you.
Let's take a look at the big 3 stories this week, live and local. What's happening where you live? A wrong way driver Sunday night on I-49. This is at Pineville. A tragedy, in fact. Obviously,
yes.
Wrong way driver I-49. A woman from Bella Vista, Arkansas, had gotten on the interstate driving south in the northbound lanes and struck a couple and their dog from Kansas City, Kansas, and they all 3, including the dog, died at the scene. Talked to the coroner's office yesterday in McDonald County. They've still not released any names of those people that were involved. We had heard that they were a couple had just gotten married in New Orleans, so we're still trying to investigate that and see more details. Our number 2 story, KOAM News Now. It was early Monday morning, about 8:30. A tractor trailer traveling towards Carthage from the Carterville area was rear-ended at a high speed. They were going about 65 miles an hour, so the car struck them at a high speed in the rear end just before the Brooklyn Heights exit. The 18-year-old female driver, the young lady, she died in a Springfield hospital, Mercy Hospital, later that day. We just learned that news yesterday, so we'll update that article and more information on our website. Our number 1 story, more tragedy. My goodness. This was last Friday. I don't know if everyone remembers. It was a late Friday. Traffic was blocked on Missouri 43 near Nashville till about 5 o'clock, in fact, all day long. Jasper Fire and Rescue had responded as a tractor trailer had crossed the center line and struck a FedEx truck head on. The driver of the FedEx truck died, of course, and also the tractor trailer driver died. Tractor trailer driver was from Knob Noster. Joplin man was driving that. That's what's left of the FedEx truck. If you can see a tail light there.
Unbelievable.
It just
look at that.
It disintegrated. Obviously, it did catch fire too. But both the men bodies were claimed at the scene by the Barton County coroner. More details you can find on our website. And then our bonus story of the week. Little lighter note, right? Oh my goodness. It's been out of service since mid last year. The historic elevator at the Jasper County Courthouse. I don't know, you've been talking about this a little bit this week.
Yes, we have.
It was really neat. There's Charlie Davis, county clerk, and Randy, our sheriff in Jasper County. They built these doors into the roof of the building, and they replaced the parts. It was the motor, the brake, and the gears. And
they had to be specially manufactured.
Yes, and you have to meet these historic standards because it's a historic building. Yeah, very fascinating. And so they flew it in through these doors that they built. Isn't that cool? I mean, I think it's so cool. So we had a lot of fun with that. That's Ozark Crane that lifted those in. And you can check out more on our website.
And they're still working on it. So
it won't be open for a minute. Somebody got to get up there and do some more work. You know, they got to install it. But I walked up the stairs not too long ago to a court hearing, and I was like, hey, I couldn't imagine walking that many times a day.
I know. So it's great that they finally got those parts to be able to fix it.
There's not a secret elevator in the back. That's it. That's all you got. So hopefully it'll be up soon.
Absolutely. Well, Shannon, as always, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Happy to have you. Stick around. We'll be right back.
All right, time for some Friday birthdays here in the 4 states. We're starting with Isabella Marie Farron in Parsons, celebrating birthday number 3. Says, Mommy, Daddy, and your sissy Rose love you very much.
And happy 6th birthday to Jace Timothy Evans in Columbus.
And in Nevada, Parker Hendren celebrating birthday number 12. Happy birthday, Parker.
Asher Hayslip turning 14 today in Carthage. Happy birthday.
And in Humboldt, Olivia Black celebrating birthday number 18. Says, love Grandma, Lizzie, Lexi, Judson, Dad, Uncle Danny, Aunt Lauren, Emily, George, Daniel Jr., and the rest of the family. Happy birthday.
And in Frontenac, a happy 40th birthday to David Longan.
And in Carthage, Carla Howerton celebrating birthday number 56 today. Happy birthday.
And a happy 69th birthday to Larry Harris in Jasper.
And Ronnie Kellogg celebrating birthday number 80 today with happy birthday love coming from your wife. Great throwback picture there.
And heading over to Chetopa, happy birthday to Terry Hildebrand.
And in Joplin, Shirley White celebrates a leap year birthday.
Oh, how about that?
She only ages once every 4 years. Okay. Leap year birthday. It says, happy birthday, sis. Love, Steve and Darlene. Very happy birthday to you, Shirley.
And continuing our list with a happy 52nd birthday to Zella Gamblin in Parsons. Says happy birthday, love all your family.
And our neighbor in Crestline, Chris Palmer, celebrating birthday number 60 today.
And a happy birthday to Amber Brandsetter.
And also another neighbor of ours down there in Crestline, Betty Lou Crossland, celebrating another year wiser. Of course, a very happy birthday to all of you on our list.
Yes.
And if you would like to celebrate with us, Elise has some information.
Yes, please go ahead and submit your birthdays and those anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful photos and messages to, of course, meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to also include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
All very important information. And I've got important information for you, starting with this. Red flag warnings for a good portion of the area through 8 o'clock. So it's going to be windy and dry across the entire region. However, and we do have an elevated fire risk across our entire viewing area as well. But in the red flag warnings, absolutely no outdoor burning. If you're not under one, I still would not recommend it whatsoever, because it's going to be very breezy, very dry, and again, elevated fire conditions across the entire region today. So please, just don't do any outdoor burning. It's, we don't want to cover these fires of people that started a small fire and it spread so quickly, especially when this fire can wait one day. It always drives me kind of crazy. You see all these grass fires that were started on red flag warning days, or on days you were advised not to burn, and then they spread, and it's something that could have waited a couple of days. So just be patient. Don't worry. We're just getting into the warm season. We'll have time to do burning that is necessary a little later. Today, though, sunny skies, as I mentioned, breezy. That's why we have the elevated fire risk. That's why we have the red flag warnings. Going to be a very nice day temperature-wise, though, which will be fantastic. Now, later this evening, see these clouds, here they go. That's a boundary. It's going to push through, and those wind arrows shifting behind it coming out of the north. So it's still going to be chilly tonight, not bad, but we're not going to do a ton of warming tomorrow. We'll have a few clouds here or there, what we call mostly clear skies. And while we will be cooler tomorrow, we will be seasonable tomorrow. We should be in the low to mid 50s for our highs, and that's where the majority of us are going to be as we head into Saturday. Now worry not, because overnight Saturday into Sunday, watch these wind arrows again. They begin to shift back out of the south, so we have a cold start to Sunday morning. Clouds increase, got gusty winds once again, and our temperatures increase back into the upper 50s and some low 60s. So not significantly above normal, but above normal. And then after about 8, 9 o'clock Sunday night into early Monday morning, we'll have some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two start to push through the area. Now this activity, we don't have any major concerns with. We are still watching Tuesday very closely, though. Still a lot of questions. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Still very cold in Miami, sitting at 28 as the cold spot. Otherwise, most of us into the upper 30s, and I've really seen a lot more low to mid 40s out there. So pretty decent start to the day. Similar to what we saw a couple of days ago. Got a great view of that sunrise, because here comes the sun. Upper 40s to start, low 60s by 11 o'clock this morning. Our highs today looking to be, most of us, I think, the low 70s. There could be a couple of upper 60s, but I think the majority of us will at least reach the low 70s. But those southwest winds again gusting 35 to 40 miles an hour. Again, that boundary pushes through later this evening, so a few clouds here and there. Temperatures back to the upper 30s, and north winds 5 to 10. Now, I'm going to take a moment. Here's those showers, maybe a rumble of thunder from Sunday night into Monday. This should be done by or before noon on Monday, leaving us just mostly cloudy and not bad. Temperatures, as you see, warm back up. Then we go into Tuesday, and as I've mentioned, we have a very classic severe weather setup for Tuesday. However, we're still very early in the season, and there's a question as to how much instability, how much energy for these storms we're going to be able to get north into our area. There's pretty good consensus that down to our south, they are looking at the potential for some significant severe weather from Arkansas back through parts of Mississippi and Alabama and East Texas, maybe even Louisiana. But as for us, there's still questions as to how far north the energy for these storms could potentially make it. So I will show you this. This is the extended severe weather outlook. And into Tuesday, this yellow area, which is possible severe weather, was down here where the probable is. It has been backed up northwest. It does include part of our area now. So it's something that we are going to be watching very closely over the next few days, just to see what kind of thunderstorms we're looking at Tuesday. Hopefully things calm down, and there'll just be some good old-fashioned storms with some much-needed rain, but we will keep you updated. We'll have another look at your forecast and, of course, the news you need to know in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to see how a high school in Oklahoma is looking to help those in wheelchairs move more easily.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. An 18-year-old woman died following a Monday morning crash in Jasper County. The crash happened on Missouri 171 near Carthage. Authorities say a car rear-ended a tractor trailer. The woman driving the car was flown to Springfield, where she later died from her injuries. The Quapaw School District went into lockdown after an Amazon driver reported someone was shooting a gun behind the administration building. Investigators determined it was a person doing target practice, but they did arrest a suspect requesting a charge of reckless endangerment with a firearm. And Missouri launches an investigation into Liberty Utilities operations in the state. The commission says this investigation comes following a series of inquiries, complaints, and comments from customers about Liberty's billing and customer service. The commission says they've heard the concerns loud and clear. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, not too bad this morning. It'll be warm and breezy today. Most of us low 70s. We do have red flag warnings, so no burning, and that's why southwest winds gusting 35 to 40, and we have an elevated fire risk across the entire area today. We'll have a few clouds later this evening. Boundary pushes through, switches our winds out of the north, and we'll fall back into the upper 30s tonight. After that, though, we got some showers, possible Sunday, maybe a few storms Sunday night into Monday. A little cooler tomorrow. Then we're keeping an eye on Tuesday's thunderstorm chances. Much colder Wednesday, below normal, but it's short-lived. Temperatures warm right back up in the second half of next week.
Righty. And coming up today at noon, we're making red carpet popcorn crunch in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOM with CBS Mornings. There are many more questions than answers in the tragic death of Gene Hackman and his wife. Next on CBS Mornings, coverage from Santa Fe, where some disturbing new details have come to light.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, a 10-year-old boy delivered a powerful speech at the Cleveland Town Hall.
And Shannon Becker back in the studio with his big 3 stories of the week. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. Back here Monday morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.